Good morning. Welcome back. So, yesterday we finished the project in Rock Island and got loaded up, hauled home last night. So, all good to go there. And we are on to our next project this morning. So, we're heading to a property in Princeton. It's actually a property that I had done another project before, and maybe a year or two ago. So it's actually a cool place and some amazing customers. They had another section that they wanted to do. They're looking at putting up a chicken coop, a nice chicken coop. So they need a big area cleared out and some dead trees taken down and that kind of stuff. So we're going to go in and get all that stuff cleaned up and opened up for them and kind of get it set up where when their builders are ready, they can get in there and get the coop built. So that being said, we are on our way to Princeton. I got a few stops to make today before we get there. Look, I got no idea what I'm doing. I don't know who put me in charge of this thing. Terrible idea. All right. So we are at the next job site, which unfortunately is a muddy, sloppy mess. Kind of like everything else in the area right now, but such is life. Gotta get all this unlocked. All right, put some fuel in this thing, probably add a little hydraulic oil. There ain't much in here at all. Alrighty, well, now that I'm winded, too fat. So this area is going to be for a chicken coop. So we need to get most of these pines, especially in the center here, are dead. So a few of them have come down on their own. The rest of the dead ones we're going to take down. Get this area opened up. There's a few random stumps in here that are gonna get popped out. One of them I'm kind of walking over the top of right now. So I'm just trying to give myself a little room. I can come in here and start dealing with some of this material. But I think we figured it's roughly going to be, the area we're going to clear is going to be about 90 by 120, I think, or something close to that. The chicken coop itself isn't going to be that big, obviously, but we want to clear some area around it for some kind of future projects they got, and just to make a little bit of room where they can turn the chickens out and have a little bit of room to run. So this area you can see next to me, they've already fenced in, and they have material sitting here that is going to be used to fence in the new area once they get the coop built, so that way they can just kind of turn the chickens out, let them do their thing, and they're protected and don't have to worry too much about it. Right now, we're not getting too picky about stuff. This is all going to be pretty rough. And then, once we get all this material out of the way, we got a little bit of room to work. We'll come in and kind of fine-tune stuff and readjust. So, I'll probably turn you guys off there, and once I get a little bit of stuff opened up and get into some more fun, I will get you fired back up. Okay. Really would have liked to have kept that tree taller to help me dig this. All right, well, here we are again, rambling on the run. So, it's a good thing my buddy owns a hydraulic shop. So I have a tendency to tear stuff up. So I'm heading to his place. I'm gonna pick up a new fitting, some little miscellaneous stuff. Kind of try and piece this thing back together. The quick connect for the mulcher broke off the machine earlier today, so I'm gonna run back and grab that, and I need to run by Farm and Fleet and grab some saw chains and some hydraulic oil, and we're gonna kind of regroup for the morning. Pretty good day. I got all the dead stuff, down trees, picked up. A lot of the smaller stuff I'm going to mulch up. So this is going to be a chicken coop area, and I think it's going to work out good to mulch this stuff up. I don't think we want it super fine. We kind of want to give them a little bit of material to root through, but I want to make sure that it looks good and it's manageable for the owners. So we are going to kind of grab some parts and supplies and regroup for tomorrow. So I will check in with you guys in a bit. All right, well, good morning. So got the hydraulic line fixed and got some oil and all the fun stuff to keep the wheels turning, and we're back at it. So we're gonna go through and try and get all this stuff cleaned up. So like I had mentioned yesterday, this is going to be a chicken coop, and so we want to kind of leave some of this organic material. We don't want it super small. The problem is going to be, as muddy as it is, a lot of it's going to mix in, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast with how this project's gonna go. But we don't need to get the mulch super fine. We kind of, if possible, want to leave pieces a little bit longer or a little bigger than what I would say our normal is, just because it'll turn into forage for the chickens. So it'll help hold moisture. Bugs, things like that will all kind of nest in that stuff, and then the chickens can come through and pick through it and natural forage. So that is the goal, but I definitely want this area to look presentable when I'm done, which is why we're going to bring, we brought the mulcher in, and we're going to kind of size this material up a little more to our liking and clean up the edges and like all the brush in between the trees, all that kind of stuff. Really try and make this stuff look as good as we can. It's, the reality is they're going to be in here not too long from now with a construction crew putting up the chicken coop and all of that. So it doesn't need to be super fine or exact, precise, anything like that. We're just trying to rough this out and get it opened up so that when they get to the next step, they're not trying to fight all this stuff or trying to clear it by hand themselves. So that is the goal. But as you can see, we made a big dent yesterday, but there is still a lot of material in here to process, and the bigger stuff is going to get stacked in the back so that they can cut it up and burn it as it works for them, and then all the smaller stuff we're going to kind of turn into natural biomass for them, and it should be a good deal when we're done. So once we get a little further along, I will get you guys fired back up and we'll take a look at things. Alright, figured I'd just grab a little more footage here and there, so got you guys kick back on and kind of go through and choose some material up. Still got a little hydraulic leak I'm not super thrilled with, but that's going to be a project for when I get home. I have a fitting I need to Teflon tape. Hopefully it's a fitting and not a broken valve body, but we will see. Like I said, a lot of these areas, some of this stuff I'm not going to have to go back over. This is just an edge that's next to an existing trail they had. So once I get this cleaned out, that should be good. I'm probably not going to have to do a whole lot more. Most of this stuff through the center, I'm going to come back and put a finish pass on a lot of it. Just to touch it up and kind of leave a nice finish, but I'm still trying to get rid of as much small material and soft stuff as I can to figure out what bigger material is left that needs to be stacked and piled. So even a lot of this stuff that's in here right now going to change. Alright, third time's the charm. Let's see how long this thing lasts now. Okay, so alright. So we got a lot of the small stuff mulched up, and now we're going to start shuffling the bigger stuff back. Like I was saying earlier, before I do my finish pass, I wanted to get rid of a bunch of the smaller material that was just kind of in the way. You know, that small brushy stuff, it takes up so much space that it's hard to tell what you have left or what still needs to be done in certain areas. So I wanted to take some of that stuff out, get it out of my way, open up a little bit of room to work. And now I know, you know, there's a few areas where I have some material stuck in between trees. I've got a big pile back here that is longer, bigger diameter stuff. So we're going to get this stuff moved back to the pile, and once I have all that stuff moved, we're going to throw the mulcher back on and do a finish pass to kind of smooth and level everything out, and this project is going to look good. So just had the landowner out here. They were checking things over. She was walking the dogs, so stopped and talked for a little bit. We decided that we're going to take out a couple more trees, well, mainly one, but it's right on the verge of not so much being in the way, but if we take it out, it's really going to open up. So it's this tree right here in front of the machine. It's not so much that it's physically in the way of where the coop is going to go, but if we take it out, it'll open up that entire area and kind of square it off. And I think it's really just going to tie that whole area together. So we decided we're going to take that one out, and there's one more little spindly dead one that I saw I want to get down, and I think that is probably the end of the trees that we're taking down, and then it'll just be cleanup. So we're definitely getting close. Gonna bail this big material out of the way, and I will fire you guys back up shortly. All right, well, so we are going to start putting the finish pass on all this. Got a couple of trees down that I wanted out of the way, which I think really made a difference in how the project looks. Other than being muddy a mess, that just can't be helped. We're gonna eat up the last of the daylight here and hopefully put some finishing touches on this.